Thank you for joining me. I'm going to talk about the 3 new products that we have in our portfolio for 2021. It's actually 2 new products and 1 comeback. The first one is Garda, and this is a broad spectrum fungicide, bactericide, and it's made from, the active ingredient is thymol. So this is a thyme oil product, and it's actually the very first thyme oil product that's EPA registered and has a standardized percentage of thyme oil. So this is something that's been on the market for a long time. A lot of people use thyme oil for insecticidal, fungicidal properties, but most of these products are 25B, which means they're not EPA registered. And so you get this really varied amount of time in your product, and you really have no idea what you're spraying. So that's been one of the biggest hurdles with actually using thyme as a pesticide. So we have it standardized. We've extracted the molecule, thymol and rosmarinic acid and carvacol. Those are the 3 main components that make this work so well. And the mode of action is really cool. It's very violent, like most of our products. We just eviscerate it and crack it in half like an egg. All its guts spill out, and therefore it makes it a really nice product for resistance management, because you're not going to get resistance from that mode of action. It also actually impairs the DNA capabilities of the cell as well. So there are other things it does, but this is the biggest. So how did we get this molecule to stick around? We have a polymer, a molecule called Hold It. And this is derived from tree lignin, I can never say that right, which is just a byproduct of wood pulp. And this is sustainable, but it's not recognized as a biorational or an organic component yet, which is why Garda is not registered organic yet. We are pursuing that. So what this molecule does is it forms this nanofilm on the surface of the plant tissue, and it gives Garda 14 days of residual control, which is awesome. Because most of the time when you're using a 25B thyme oil product, you're getting maybe a matter of an hour or so before it just dissipates and it's gone. So not only does this help keep it active and on the plant tissue, but it gives it a really long shelf life. It's very UV stable, temperature stable, tank mix compatible, which is really cool. So again, there's a lot of strengths to the product that I kind of went over. It's very broad spectrum as far as the fungi, bacteria that it will kill. It is virucidal, it's insecticidal, arachicidal, nematicidal. I don't know if I said that right or not. And it's an awesome repellent. So when you're spraying this as a fungicide, you are getting the insecticidal properties as well. And it's really safe. This is level 4, which is the lowest mammalian toxicity you can have of anything for animals. So how do we use it? It's pretty the usual kind of thing. We have ornamentals on the label, of course, which includes color, bedding plants, woody ornamentals, shrubs, conifers. And we have a really wide use rate listed, 0.8 to 3% volume. And we are really working more with that 1% solution right now. That's kind of our go-to, and that's what I would suggest you start with. This is the list of what Garda will control, and there are a lot of tough to control pathogens on this list. Not only foliar, but soil as well. Verticillium, fusarium, rhizoc, rust. A lot of our products don't list rust, downy mildew, et cetera, et cetera. And then this is labeled for turf. These are the various types that we've tested and are good to go. And these are all the target diseases for turf. This I'm pretty excited about to use, and I'm really looking forward to somebody getting this out there and starting for some of these diseases. So a good way to use this product. This is a little different for us because our only other systemic product is oxyphos. So you don't necessarily have to spray this, every 5 to 7 days. You can get away with 2 to 3 week spray intervals, which is really, really nice and makes this a nice landscape product. We can use this effectively in a landscape, and we don't have to be back every 5 days. So again, you can rotate this with conventional products like we do with Xeritol. It works really, really well. But the other thing that we're finding is it is very tank mix compatible. We already know for sure you can tank mix it with Xeritol, and it makes a lovely little concoction. Because you also get the Hold It sort of activates that Xeritol a little bit longer as well. So you get more activity from that product when you tank mix them. All right, so here's some down and dirty stats for Garda. I've got, hang on, let me get one of my millions of pairs of reading glasses. This is a little hard to read, but I've got costs down here on the very bottom. And you can see the sizes. We've got 2.5 gallon all the way to 275 gallon shuttles. And the grower cost per acre, if you're using a 2.5 gallon and we already take your 30% margin out, it's about $38.93. So this is going to be a cost-effective product, especially when we start messing around with the rates. I'm pretty sure you can get away with spraying this at lower rates than 1%, especially when you're tank mixing. So our inventory, we do have some 1 gallon samples in stock, and I've already ordered about 5 of those to come to my house. And if anybody wants to run some trials in turf, landscape, ornamentals, and you have someone in mind, I would be overjoyed to work with you on that. And this is registered in Idaho, Washington, and Utah, and the registration is submitted and pending in Montana and Oregon, and it shouldn't be too long before those are approved. All right, the next product I'm going to talk about is new-ish. This is actually a previous product that has been reformulated, and we found a new supplier for some of our technical ingredients. You may remember P-Vent as a registered fungicide back from the summer of 2019. This is no longer a registered pesticide. There are a lot of reasons we did that, a lot. But one of the main reasons is because when P-Vent was on the market, it worked very, very well. And when we took it off because we were having problems with our supplier, people freaked out big time. And it wasn't something you could easily replace. There's really nothing like it on the market. So we took over everything in this product, and now we manufacture it. All the technical comes from the United States. And I know there's a lot of people that know a lot about fertilizer, so I'm not really going to get into exactly what it does. I know Wilbur Ellis has its own branded products, microbial products like this that have humic acid and things. So you guys are well aware of what products like this do. It's always a lot of like smoke and mirrors when you're first talking about it. We have a lot of samples on hand that we can certainly use. Usually after one treatment, people are hooked. And this is what it looks like. It's a wettable powder. It's brown because we are using some technical that's brown. Now this doesn't stain. I know TerraGrow, which is another microbial product of ours, that can actually stain because of the molasses in it. We don't have molasses in this. And you can now actually store this unopened for 12 months without refrigeration. But if you do open it, you do have to refrigerate the remainder. We like you to mix it up and use it right away. It's a little bit dusty, so you may want to have growers wear a dust mask when they're mixing. And again, though, this is a registered fertilizer, not fungicide. And so it makes handling and use way easier. So again, we have a lot of little goodies in here that promote growth, basically, all kinds of plant growth, humic substances, and our humic is from peat and other plant material. And so with this P-Vent, you can do both foliar and soil applications. We've got soy protein in there. And those of you who use TerraGrow or have customers who use TerraGrow, you'll recognize some of these components from TerraGrow. And these components are used to feed our microbes, but they're also wonderful for plant growth. And so our soy protein is 100% vegetable origin from natural vegetable proteins. And then kelp. And kelp, this is a very widely researched genus and species, Ascophyllum nodosum. I don't know if I pronounced it right, but there's been a ton of research been done on this particular kelp because it is so potent in what it can do for plants. And a couple things that it does, it really increases root and shoot mass. It bulks things up. It stimulates early flowering, and I'm going to try it personally for germination. We all have a feeling that it's going to be a great product for dips or during to get rooting. And then the last critter that we have in here, this is Clonostachys rosea. This is a naturally occurring biological inoculant that is found in the soil. It is a saprophyte, a filamentous fungi that you find in the soil, ubiquitous. And it does a lot of the same types of growth promotion that the other ingredients do. But this is a very, very fast colonizer. And it will colonize roots, shoots, anything you put it on very, very quickly. And that action in it of itself provides really wonderful protection and allows it the actual ingesting of plant nutrients to be much more efficient. And here are our use rates and directions. This was another reason that we just registered this as a fertilizer. We have way more flexibility with how you can use this. You can use it as a foliar spray for a soil application, and you can cold fog this, which is awesome. All right, so tank mixing. We are messing around with this, and you cannot tank mix this with xeritol, Oxyphos, Terrasite Pro. Any of our oxidizing products will obviously kill this Clonostachys, but you can mix it with Azagard, BioSeries, TerraGrow. So I'm really looking forward to making some tank mixes to see what we can do with this. I think with TerraGrow and BioSeries, and even with some of Wilbur's branded microbial products, I think it's going to knock everything out of the park. And all right, I like how our tech team says this, that it's fairly soluble in water. All right, so just to clarify, this does not go into solution. This is a suspension. So when you mix P-Vent up, you're going to have to give it about a half hour, and you're going to have to mix, put a little bit of muscle into it and make sure that everything is suspended. Because think of it, it's just like riding on this little raft, on its river. It's not actually in solution. So that's why mixing is really, really important. And you want to use it the day you mix it, of course. And so to use P-Vent as a foliar spray, you can easily make your application in between things like xeritol or other fungicides that aren't compatible with P-Vent. And it's a really nice sort of application lengthener. If you're using some of our products that don't have any residual, you do have residual with P-Vent because you have that colonization. And then for a soil treatment program, using it with something like TerraClean First, where you're treating the soil with this organic fumigant product, you kill everything as far as the drench goes, and then you can add P-Vent, and then you can add TerraGrow, And if you're going to use TerraGrow and Pvent together, we like to use Pvent first because it's so fast. And the Bacillus and TerraGrow are not as fast. So we don't want to run them over. We like to have that Pvent established first. Okay, so here's your cost. And I have a foliar spray here and a soil cost per acre. And this is 1 pound. It comes in 1 pound and 2 pound. We can also do half-pound sizes. But really, when we looked back at what we sold, we predominantly sold 1 pounders. So that's kind of what I have up here. Current inventory, we have 33 cases of the 1 pounders. This is registered Idaho, Montana, Utah, and submitted and pending in Washington and Oregon. But again, we're expecting that very soon. Okay, our last product is Calox FT. And this is a foliar feed product, 10% calcium, which is derived from calcium ammonium nitrate. This is heavy. Those of you who have used the Calox pH, these are heavy products, but this is not as heavy as our pH product. It's not liquid rock. So you no longer have to agitate this. You can store it very easily. You can stock it. And so, you know, it's a calcium spray, big deal. It's not very sexy. But what we've done is we've made this very, very available quickly to plants by using this cation technology that delivers it very, very efficiently directly to where the plant tissue needs it. And so there is a bit of a systemic response. And we're getting a lot of elevated calcium concentrations within cells. And it's very tank mix compatible, really, really a user-friendly product. And this is a lot of like scientific gibberish here, but really all it's saying is that because we have this cation, we can take the symplastic path through the cells of the plants and arrive where the calcium is needed much quicker. Most products are going to go in between the cells. It takes much longer. You don't get as much translocation in the plant material. You don't get as much of a systemic response. So this is an example on the right-hand side, the control. That was just a regular grower choice calcium foliar product that we sprayed. And you can see there's a slight increase in the calcium concentration, but it's directly to where it's been applied. And then Calox with our cation, you can see that the systemic response is real, and we're getting some movement, not necessarily, you're not going to get it in the vascular system. It's not like this product is going to go up and down the xylem and phloem. But what we're seeing is it will travel quite a distance from your original application point. And the other thing that is really, really cool, within 4 hours, we had a big increase in the calcium concentration in the plant tissue. And we are working with Metrolina to kind of quantify the amount of calcium that is delivered to the tissue and how quickly. So there's more information to come. This is an example, some very preliminary sprays that they did. On the left, there was no Calox sprayed. On the right, we sprayed Calox 18 ounces per 100 gallons. And these are your rates for both ornamental and nursery. You have a couple different rates here. And frankly, I was really confused and annoyed by this label. But once I talked to some of my colleagues in our tech team, this 14 to 28 ounces per 100 gallons, that's a good rate to sort of start playing with. And 18 ounces sounded like that was a really good rate. So I would probably start there. Your cost I have up here, and I'll have your costs available and some PDFs on the products themselves. I'll send it all out to you, as well as the recording for those of you who aren't able to or weren't here. So current inventory, we've got 151 gallons of 2.5s. We've got 28 gallons of 5 gallons. And this is registered Idaho, Montana, Utah, and submitted in Washington and Oregon pending. But again, those shouldn't be a problem for those to be registered fairly quickly. And that is all I have. There's my contact information, and I'm going to get back over here, stop sharing, and let's see if there are any questions. Oh, oops, I have people waiting in the lobby. Oh, sorry about that, everyone. Let's see. Questions. I don't think I have any. If anyone has any questions, feel free to unmute yourselves, and I'll get them answered. You can email me later, or however you want to do it. And that's really all I had. I'm excited to start working with these products with you guys, and excited to start getting some results from the field. So if you have anything in particular with any of the three I mentioned, just get a hold of me, and we'll get something going. So with that, have a wonderful weekend. For those of you who are trapped in the snow, be careful and be safe. And I'm sure I'll talk with you guys soon. And I'll send out, yeah, no problem. I'll send out a recording for those of you who couldn't be here. That'll be coming.
Okay, great.
Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks,
yeah,
Sarah.
no problem. Thanks, guys. Have a great rest of your weekend. Great rest of your Friday. Thanks.
Bye. You too,
Bye.
Sarah.
Bye.